Okay, so welcome everybody once again to the free intro to Scrum Masters free intro to Scrum Master class. And in this class, we have a Scrum, or I would say an Agile Maestro, a master in Scrum. He has been doing tech for, I'm not talking about 5 years. And you're like, can you let us know how long you've been doing tech for?
A bit over 11 years now.
11 years, that's a very, very long time. So
Yeah,
you can rest assured that, whatever information is telling you is legit, and trust me, you're hearing from an expert. So this morning, Eniola would be going through everything you really need to know about Scrum. Either you've heard about Scrum, you've not heard about Scrum, but I can guarantee you that in this class, you'll be able to understand everything related to Scrum and Scrum Master. So without further ado, because we have already timed ourselves to make it not more than an hour, so I'll let Eniola, take the microphone, and I'll make you a co-host so that you could actually share your screen as well.
yeah. Thank you. Thank you. Good morning. Good morning, everyone. How are we doing today? Saturday morning.
Yeah.
How was your week?
Good
How you doing?
morning.
Fine. Good
Yeah.
morning.
Yeah.
Good
So me,
morning.
yeah, me. I like to have a very interactive class. So because there's no need for us to be uptight and too serious. Let's just make it an interactive one, where you can ask me any question, I can answer them. And also, yeah, I've been in tech for a while, but I don't know everything. So, so I believe that we're all here to learn from ourselves. I'm here to share some of the things that um I have learned, some things that I've done over the years. And you know, I'd like to hear from you as well. I'd like to learn from you also. So I'll just share my screen shortly and then we'll get started. Um I'd like you to let me know when you can see my screen. Okay. I think I might have to just launch this on a separate tab because still want to be able to move in and out of the class as I move in and out of my slides even though I would be displaying on slideshow. Just give me a moment to get that done. So I am sharing now. Please let me know when you can see.
I can see your screen.
All
Yes,
right.
the screen is
All right, great. Yeah, before we get started, um I like to set the tone by just understanding, or I mean just a few, maybe one or two people, two or three people can just tell me what their expectation is from this class. What's that thing that you want to take away, from attending this session today? So I'd like to know, so that can help us to set an expectation for the class. Should I call anyone randomly, or does someone want to volunteer to respond to that? Okay. In five, four, three, two, one, I'm just going to call on someone randomly. All right. So let's hear from Joy, Babashewa, Aluko. What's your expectation from the class today?
Good morning. I
Morning.
expect to be able to navigate my way through choosing a particular tech skill
Okay.
to, yeah, to choosing a particular tech skill that works best for me.
Okay. So you haven't decided on doing Scrum. You just want to be here to say, okay, what's this Scrum thing about? Is it right for
Yeah,
me? Okay.
yeah.
That's good. That's good. What about Adibola Adirunke? What's your expectation?
hello, good morning.
Yeah, good morning. Seems like we lost her. Okay. Maybe I should just hear from someone else. Ada, Wume, what's your expectation from today's class?
Okay, good morning.
Yeah, morning.
Okay, my expectation from the class is to actually know the framework in Scrum, to understand when you say Scrum is the empiricism, they use the empirical framework to understand actual thing, the values, the artifacts, difference between a product owner, Scrum Master, everything about Scrum. I look
Okay.
forward to have an overview
Mm.
of the Scrum. Yeah.
Um. So Ada, we're not actually going to go into all of that today. It's just an introductory class. But I can assure you that at the end of this class, you would have a basic understanding of what it actually means to be a Scrum Master, right? In the grand scheme of things. So we're not going to going deep into all the frameworks, the values, all of that. No, that's not what this class is about. It's just like an introductory class. And like I said earlier, I want it to be interactive, right? And when we start the actual classes, we would then touch on all of these things. We'll take our time to dissect Scrum. We'll demystify everything. We'll break it down. But this class is just really introductory. It's meant to set the tone for what the classes would look like. And here I mean, I am going to answer all the questions you may have had about Scrum, but we're not going to go into all those nitty gritty details today. So I hope that doesn't disappoint you, and I hope you stick around. You know, is that okay, Ada?
It's okay. It's okay. It's okay.
Okay, that's fine. Pedro, what are your expectations from the class today?
Good morning, facilitators. Good morning, everyone.
Morning.
Okay, I once sat in a Scrum class, but I didn't pay an attention. So I feel this is another opportunity for me to understand exactly what Scrum entails. Even
Mm,
though I had a conversation with, I can't remember her name, but she's here last year. Later, she's smiling. Even though I had a
okay.
conversation last year, December, around a couple of other things. But I'm just
Mm.
here to just see if it's something I can add to my feathers.
All right, that's good. That's really good. We can't hear everybody's voice because of our time, but thanks for the people thanks to the people that have spoken so far. Thank you so much. If you feel like there's something you want to get out of your chest, or maybe you want to share your expectation as well, you could use the chat. You could just put what your expectations are on the chat. I'll do my best to try and go through the chat as I go, so that I don't lose any important thing. But because of our time, we can't get feedback from everyone. So let's just go into it. So first of all, who am I? Why am I taking this class? Um, so like my name is Eniola Bologun. Um, I am. Sorry, is my slideshow still displaying? I think something just happened.
Yes, it is. It's
Okay.
showing full screen now. Yeah.
Okay, yeah. So currently I am a delivery manager at Skipton Building Society. It's a mortgage lending financial service company here in the UK, and I have um, over 11 years experience working across technology projects, technology companies, and I've done this across financial services. Um, my company now is a financial service company. Before now, I worked for an insurance company in Nigeria. Um, that's also financial services. Worked in a travel company as well, where we built all of the digital solutions that customers use to interact with the business. And as I've also worked in a telecommunication company as well, as a project manager, doing technology related projects. So for me, it's really been tech, from the get go. My expertise cuts across project management. I'm very proficient in both agile and waterfall methodologies. Um, I'm also proficient in business analysis as well. Product innovation, product management, anything around building products, developing products. That's my forte as well. I am also um, very keen on, learning and evangelizing digital and business transformation. So I have a few certifications. I'm PMP certified. That's project management professional. I'm a manager of risk. I have the Safe Scrum Master certification. I have the Lean Six Sigma Green Belt. Certified business analysis professional, and the most recent one I've attained is the business transformation management methodology. So all of these things are things that helps you to function as someone working within technology, innovation, delivering solutions, and stuff like that. So that's my profile in brief. Um, so I actually want to start this class by taking you guys through the software development lifecycle. Right, I think that's a very good place to start to set the scene. For why Scrum, why Agile, why are we even doing all of these things. So the software development methodology is a process that is used in the software industry to describe the steps involved in creating new software product. So when you want to create a new software product, what does the process look like, right? Uh, on my slide, you can see that it says it is the software development lifecycle (SDLC) is a guide that helps developers to ensure that software is produced with the lowest cost and the highest possible quality in the shortest amount of time. So it means that this is a process that guides how new software products is being developed. And there are 7 steps in the software development life cycle. The first step is planning. So when um, when a new software is meant to be developed, a group of people will get together to plan, what they think should be done. A group of people, probably a product manager, uh, or a business analyst, or anyone that is involved in the process will come together, or a project manager or a scrum master, whoever it is that is involved in that early process, to say, what, we want to build a new product, right? So let's imagine that it is a new business, say like an e-commerce business. You want to build an e-commerce website where people can come and do online shopping, right? You want to build a web portal for that, and you want to build a mobile app where people can do this. Before you even do anything, a group of people need to come together to say, what, this is what we want to do. This is the customer segment that we want to serve. How can we go ahead to do this? So that's where the planning comes into play. The planning to say, okay, for us to do this, these are the people that we need on board. This person is going to be the product manager. This other person will be a scrum master, or these are the developers we're assigning to getting this work done. So they come together and the planning begins. Then after that, you move to the analysis phase, right? So the analysis phase is where you begin to conduct, more targeted market research. You begin to understand, what does this market look like, who are the customers, how would they interact with our business, you know um what does their disposable income look like, how much they have to be able to purchase the type of products that we would be offering them. So I mean, a lot of things like the analysis then goes into play. Also, technically, analysis will be taking place to say, okay, what would this platform looks like, what's programming languages we want to use to build this solution, how can we go about it, you know how much time do we have, what's the budget behind it. So that's where the analysis phase begins to go into play. So after the analysis phase is done, you then go to design phase. So the design phase is where a technical design is then done. So this is where actually the senior technical people, the developers, the solutions architects, plus the product managers, the business analysts will come together to say, okay, technically this is how we think we should design this solution. Let's begin to work on the design and stuff. So the design phase is done, and once a design is agreed, then development can start. That's where um the programmers, the developers can begin to write code to build the solution based on the design that has been given to them. So once the development is then done, integration and testing will then follow, right? So you need to test what you have built. You need to test what has been developed to see if it's actually working as intended. So testing will then take place. Testing and integration. So integration, maybe you want to integrate to a third-party system. You want to integrate payments. You want to integrate, some other things to enhance your product. Integration and testing is done. You do all those integration. You test it to see if it's working as intended, and once that is done, then you go to the next phase. What I have here in my diagram says implementation, but I like to call it deployment, really. So deployment is when you deploy that solution, and then you release it to customers. You release it to the general public to say, here's a product, that we've built for the purpose of people who want to buy, stuff online. So here it is. Go ahead and use it and let us know what you think about it. So that's what happens at that implementation or deployment phase. And then the last thing is maintenance. Of course, you need to maintain the solution, you need to maintain the product. Customers may find some bugs, some things customers may not like. Some things may not be working properly as intended, so you need to go back and ensure that there's some form of maintenance done to keep improving the product. So that's in general the software development life cycle, right? That's what it looks like from end to end. So from planning to analysis to design to development to integration and testing to implementation and then to maintenance, right? This is the rule. Anywhere in the world you go to, this is how software products are being built. This is the process. Now, let's take it a notch further to talk about the waterfall and agile, right? So these are the two predominant um, project management methodologies out there today. There is the waterfall process, and then there is the agile process. Now, waterfall has been there for the longest time. The waterfall methodology has been the major methodology for the longest time. As a matter of fact, I think um, waterfall methodology actually started, with the U.S. military. Years back when the U.S. military would create, will build systems and solutions that they could use, right? This was a methodology that they used to use at the time, right? And it's very, very popular. Um, but the thing with this waterfall methodology is that it's the linear approach. It's an approach that for you to be able to use this methodology, you have to ensure that you do everything one step at a time. So you do analysis, you do analysis. Once you have to ensure that you are done with the analysis before you move on to the next phase, right? Which is the requirement phase. And then after you have to ensure that you are done with everything requirements, you have requirements signed off before you then move to the design phase. And when you move to the design phase, you must be done with the design before you go into development. You must finish everything development before you do testing and implementation. You must do everything testing and implementation before you do deployment. And deployment must completely be done. You must have deployed the full solution before you go into maintenance, right? So this is it's linear. You have to do everything one step at a time, right? um but now the problem with this approach is that the world is changing, right? The world is now we live in a digital world now. It's a digital economy, right? Every business today, every big business, even small businesses, everybody is trying to establish an online presence. Everybody wants to ensure that people are able to reach them online, either by having an app out there or a website, or just something that people can actually interact with them on the internet through that. Now, if you go through this linear process to build your solution, there is that tendency that it will take too much time before you start capturing value for yourself as a business, right? Uh, just imagine you go through all this process and it takes you a whole year. So that means that for that entire year, it means you can't really you can't have a product out there that customers can actually reach you through that product. It takes too long for you to be able to hit the market. And the problem with this is that if you don't hit the market as quickly as you can, there is a tendency that by the time you eventually create that product and put it out there, the market may have shifted, right? Things that the value that you should have captured for yourself, you know you might end up not capturing that value because things have changed, right? So that's why there is actually agile, right? So the agile method, the agile methodology is a methodology that believes that you can actually do these things iteratively. You can do these things in increments. You can do these things gradually. You can actually take a big solution and say, you know what, as part of this big solution, I want to just um, push out 10% of this big solution to the market. Let's test the market and see how people actually respond to this product. Let's see if they actually like what we're doing. Let's see if they like our products. And then once we push that 10% of the large solution to the market, we can come back and take their feedback and use that to improve on the next 10%, right? So it means that you are capturing value early enough, you are getting feedback from customer early enough, you're able to acquire customers early enough, even though you don't have a fully working solution. And I give you guys an example. So let's imagine, um I don't know how many, of course, I assume that everybody here uses Instagram, right? Recently um I saw a screenshot of what Instagram looked like 7 years ago. And to be honest, it wasn't looking great at all. But guess what? 7 years ago, we were all using Instagram the way it was, and we thought, this is the best thing that can that can ever happen. I mean, we're able to post pictures, we're able to put comments on pictures, we're able to like pictures, share wonderful moments with our families and friends via Instagram. But the Instagram of back then has evolved. Instagram has changed. There's been improvements over time. So it means that what has happened over the years is that incrementally, Instagram has improved as a product, right? And a lot of products that we use today, over time, you just keep even Piggyvest. I remember when I started using Piggyvest, the Piggyvest I use today is not the Piggyvest that I was using 3 or 4 years ago, you know. So that's what Agile actually recommends, that you can build things gradually. You can build, get feedback. And once you get feedback and you feel like you need to change some things about your product, you can go back and you can make those changes. You can, push update to customers, capture value, make customers happy, and then capture, some monetary value for yourself as a business or as a product team, right? So that's basically what Agile is about. So Agile is not a linear process, it is an iterative process, something that you can always keep um it's an ever evolving process for developing products, right? um yeah, just to read some notes for what I have on the slide. So the agile software development model separates the product into cycles and delivers a working product very quickly. This methodology produces succession of releases, like I said earlier. So 10% of a large chunk, release it, go back after a few months, release another 10% or 5%. So like that. The agile model prioritizes collaboration and implementation of small changes based on regular feedback. The agile model accounts for shifting project requirements, which may become apparent over the course of the software development lifecycle. Testing of each release feeds back into the in feedback into that's incorporated into the next version. Anyway, what this means is that that testing, regular feedback from customers can help you to improve your product. So while the image that I have on the left is showing a linear process, right, from analysis through to maintenance, the agile process is like it's in a loop, right? So for the 10% of your last solution that you want to release, plan, design, develop, test, deploy, and release for your 10%. Once you do that, you launch, you go back again, you start building the next 10%, you start planning, you start designing, you start developing. So like that, it's a loop. You just keep developing like that. But to be able to do this well, to be able to go through this agile process, there are some things that you need to know. There are some basic principles of agile, right? Which we would delve deep into when we go into the class. But this is just really to set the tone for you to understand why there's even a need for agile in the first place. Are we together? Is everyone with me? Can I hear?
Yes, I'm with you.
Okay,
Yeah.
cool. Okay. Any questions or any comments so far before I confuse anybody here? Is it making sense? I can't hear anybody. Please, I
Yes,
want,
it is for me. It's making sense, but I
yeah,
don't have any question for now.
yeah, I want an interactive class, and that's why I'm just trying to, hear you guys out. All right, so now let's talk about the agile inverted triangle. Um, so now this is um something that differentiates the traditional way of develop or of delivering project to the agile way of delivering project. Now, don't forget that the traditional way is also something what I referred to as waterfall earlier. So it's either you call it waterfall or you call it traditional. So there's the waterfall or traditional way of project management, and there is the agile way of project management. Now, this triangle that is being shown here is something referred to as the triple constraints. For it's a principle in project management. Now, what this means is, so the triple constraints in project management are three things. So there is time, there is cost, and then there is scope. But to put it in a better way from a product perspective, so we've renamed this to say time, budget, and features. So budget is referring to cost, feature here is referring to scope, right? So just to put it to you in a product related manner. Now, for the traditional way of delivering projects, the features that you want to deliver in that project, they're always fixed, so just imagine um this e-commerce application that I spoke about earlier. Let's imagine it's Jumia, a Jumia app, right? Imagine someone wants to build the Jumia app. So the owner of the business, maybe the CEO of Jumia will come to a product manager and say, you know what, I want an e-commerce application where people can actually come on, download the app. People can actually create a profile. Um, they can browse products. They can select products they want to buy. They can then um, put products that they want to buy in their carts, in their shopping carts. They can make payments, and then once they make payments, they get a success. They go to a page where there's a success message saying that your order has been processed and you get your delivery on a certain day. And this is what this person wants to do, right, with the app. And let's say in addition to that, this person also wants to uh do like a transaction history page where it shows you everything you've bought, you know, shows you how much you spent on the app since you downloaded it. This is what this person wants to do. If we're building this application using the traditional way, this the feature that the CEO wants cannot change. It means that exactly what he says he wants is what you have to build in the traditional way. And don't forget that you have to go through the process of, first of all, doing your analysis, doing your design, doing your development. And you do this in a linear way, right? But the features that has been asked of you cannot change. Everything that the CEO he says he wants is what you have to deliver to him. Now, um, with that methodology, the constant thing there is that the features would not change. I want that feature and I want it. In terms of time, you might be flexible with that, and in terms of the budget, that is also flexible. So the CEO might tell you that I want all of these features, all of these 18 features that I've listed, and I want this done in 6 months. And to do this, our budget is 10 million naira. Now, as a product manager, or whoever it is that is managing this product, you can come back to him and say, we've done our analysis, we've done everything, and based on what we find, we can't get this done in 6 months. We think it's going to take us an entire year. He's happy. He's happy to say, okay, yeah, I can wait for a year. And you say, okay, 10 million naira may not work. We will have to up our budget to 15 million naira to build all these things. Since you do not want us to drop any feature, so that's how the traditional method is done. But guess what? Um, you are doing this at an increased cost. You're also doing this in a longer period of time. So initially, what was required was 6 months. Now you're saying you can't do it in 6 months. You can do it in a year. No longer 10 million naira, but now 15 million naira. So notice what has just happened here. The features are not changing. The features are constant. They are fixed, but the time and the budget, are variable. That means you've increased your time. You've also increased. So you're spending more money, and you won't get this as quickly as possible. You have to ensure that you get everything done. So that's what happens when you're using the traditional or waterfall methodology. But with agile then switches things up. It inverts this triangle. The triple constraints are changing. So in agile, the time that you want what you want is fixed. So in agile, the mentality is, the CEO says, you know what, I want this in 3 months. I want these are the 18 features that I want, but what do you think we can achieve in 3 months? And how much do you think we need to spend in these 3 months? The product manager would then say, you know what, you want 18 features, but I think in the first 3 months we can only do 5 of these features. you know and to do that, 3 months is what you want, so we'll see what we can do. We'll fit the feasible features into these 3 months, and the budget for these 3 months, out of that 10 million that you're giving to us, we need 3 million naira to get it done. And then they go ahead and get things done. Now notice what has just happened here. The features now are variable, right? You're not getting everything you want, but you're getting something in a short time, and at a reduced cost. So it means that in 3 months you can actually release something to the market. You can test the market in the first 3 months. You can release a product. There's a concept in agile called minimum viable product. It means that the minimum that you can actually deliver, the minimum viable product, that's something tangible in the shortest possible time that you can release to the market, right? So that's what agile does for you. So it helps you save time, it helps you save cost, and it gets something, you know, a percentage of the larger picture to the market. The advantage of this is that in this short time, you're able to release something to the market, you're able to get early feedback, you're able to save costs, you're able to save time. So that's what agile does for you. At the end of the day, you will still get to the point where you release those 18 features, but it means that gradually you've started to even test the market. You've done 5 out of the 18. You've seen what the market is saying about it. You can get feedback. You can tell what people like about the product and what people don't like, and based on that you can come back and tweak things. You can improve on the product based on that. So that's the advantage of agile over the traditional methodology, for building products. Now let's move a bit further. Now I know I've been talking about agile, and you're wondering that are we not here to learn Scrum? Yes. So Scrum a is just one of the frameworks under agile, and in the next slide we're going to talk about all of the frameworks that you can find under agile. But before we go into that, let's talk about the agile manifesto. Now don't forget that I said um waterfall has been the predominant methodology that has been used over the years to deliver products. But in 2001, some software and methodology experts came together to say there has to be a better way for us to deliver product at a quicker timeline, right? There has to be a way that we can actually do things better, get customer feedback, improve the outcomes, improve quality and stuff like that. So they came together in February 2001 to come up with something called the Agile Manifesto. And the Agile Manifesto reads that we are uncovering better ways to develop software by doing it and helping others do it. Through this work, we have come to value individuals and interactions over processes and tools. So what this is basically saying is that individuals that we believe that we need to have interactions with human beings. We need to talk to people more. We need to interact with the users more to understand what they want, to understand how they want to interact with our products. We need to have a team where we can interact with ourselves, we can share ideas, we can brainstorm, we can innovate. So we value individuals and interactions over processes and tools. So rather than doing all the long processes, going ahead, doing months of analysis, you know, um, putting documents in place and doing all of that, we prefer to have interactions over processes and tools. Now, the next thing is that um, we've come to value working software over comprehensive documentation. So at the end of the day, what we want is a software that can work. We want to develop software products that will actually work, that can add value to people, rather than for us to just document and document and document, right? So working software is preferred over comprehensive documentation. Now, the third one is that we value customer collaboration over contract negotiation. So rather than signing contracts with different, maybe you want to build a solution now, rather than saying we need to sign a contract with Paystack, you need to sign a contract with Flutterwave and stuff. We believe more in interacting with Paystack plus Flutterwave. What can we get from this from your solution? How can we best integrate this? So we want to collaborate with them rather than focusing on signing contracts, rather than contract negotiation. And then we also value responding to change over following a plan. So agile actually values, you being able to respond to change. So if a market is shifting, if the customer needs are shifting, we would rather respond to that change, that shifting need. We would rather respond to that rather than following a plan that we've set for ourselves for the next 1 year. So that's what agile gives you. It's very, very customer centric. It's very, very focused on adding value to customers rather than you having a plan that you've set for yourself and you just want to follow it all through. So that's what agile recommends. Now, at the end of this manifesto, it is saying that while there is value on the items on the right, we value the items on the left more. So we're not saying there's no value in processes and tools. We're not saying there's no value in comprehensive documentation or contract negotiation or following a plan, but we value the items on the right, which is individuals and interactions, working software, customer collaboration, and responding to a change more than all of these things on the right. Right? So that's the agile manifesto. And if you remember the agile manifesto, then you understand why you're actually doing agile, right? Working software, you want to collaborate more, you need to respond to change, you need to interact with individuals. And we'll talk about the skills of a scrum master when it comes to living all this agile values. Now let's look at the agile framework. Now in the agile framework, there are, or rather, the agile is a methodology. Don't forget that agile, there is the agile methodology and there's the waterfall methodology. But you see, as agile as a methodology has several frameworks that you can use to do agile. And the first one on my list is Scrum, right? Scrum is the most popular agile model. you know it's very lightweight, very easy to understand, but it's difficult to master. So you understand it, but when you go about implementing agile, it's not as easy as you thought it would be. People still struggle with understanding what the practices should be, understanding what to do. Um but as a scrum master, your job is to ensure that you help people to do agile the right way, right? But one key thing to note is that Scrum is the most popular agile framework out there today, is the most widely recognized and widely accepted Scrum framework in the world. A lot of organizations are doing Scrum now, so that creates opportunities for people to get into roles such as the Scrum Master role. Um, the other one is Kanban. Kanban is a Japanese word that means signboard. Uh, you know, so a signboard or a Kanban board is just something that shows your work. It's something that helps you to visualize work that is being done. So a typical Kanban board would show, you know, different columns to show the work that has not started. It will show the work that is in progress. It will show the work that has been completed. Then it also shows work that has been completed, tested, and closed, right? So that's typically how a Kanban board looks like. So it's just something that helps you visualize work. So as a Scrum Master, there are times when you will need to use Kanban as an agile framework, to manage the work of your team, right? So it's just something that helps you to visualize the flow of work. What is yet to be done? What's currently being done? What has been done? Then what has actually been completed? It's been done. It's been tested. It's been verified and done. So that's what a typical Kanban board looks like. It's a type of agile framework as well. There's also extreme programming. So extreme programming is something that is most technical teams use this, right? So these are technical practices that your development team would typically use. So things like code reviews, um, things like pull requests, teams checking each other's work, checking each other's code to ensure that work is actually done to quality and to standard. It's something that Agile as actually recommends as well, but it is mostly for the technical team. So as a Scrum Master, it's not something that you should worry about really, but technical teams do all of these things to improve the quality of the work that they do. There's also one called feature driven development, right? And it's a framework where as a team, you first of all have to define features, and defining the features and designing what the features should look like, and then going ahead to implement the features. There's also something called the dynamic system development method, and it's a methodology that um, borrows different agile frameworks. So it borrows from Scrum, borrows from extreme programming, borrows from Kanban, and borrows from FDD. But I mean, we wouldn't go into much details into all of these things. The reason why I'm showing this is to show you that um, while Scrum is the most popular agile framework out there, there are still other agile frameworks that uh, are in use. But of course, Scrum trumps all of them because Scrum is the easiest, very easy to understand. Very it's intuitive. Teams can easily adopt agile than doing every other thing. So it's encouraged that you do Scrum first before trying to do a lot of all these other things to improve how your team works, right? um I'll just slow down from here and just see if anyone has any question. Is there anything that I've said that you're thinking about and you're like, that's not clear? Slow it down and let me understand it. Anyone? Okay, looks like everyone is fine. Adedolapo, am I missing anything from the chat and stuff?
No, you're all good. You're all good.
Okay, so if you don't ask me questions, I'm going to ask my questions at the end. So let's talk about the role of a Scrum Master. What does a Scrum Master really do? With everything that was said, what does a Scrum Master do? There are quite a number of things that a Scrum Master does. The first one on the list, which is I would say the most important thing really is for a Scrum Master to facilitate daily Scrum meetings. And the daily Scrum meeting is a 15 minutes meeting that um you know is where the team actually discuss their objectives for the day. Three questions are asked in the Scrum meeting, and these questions are, what have we done? What did we do in the previous day? What's our objective for the day? And are there any blockers or any impediments that I, as a Scrum Master, can help you remove? Right. So the Scrum Master is that person that brings everyone together within a product team. He brings everyone together to be able to discuss objectives so that nothing gets missed. He does that because he's trying to spot what the challenges to the team would be, so that he can help them to take away those challenges. The Scrum Master also mentors team members on agile principles. So it's the Scrum Master should really be the one that understands agile the most in a team. He should understand understand agile as a methodology and understand Scrum as a framework as well, so that he can teach the team members. He can mentor them to say, okay, in this situation, this is how we do this. This is what we're meant to do. So your job is to, as a Scrum Master, is to first of all understand Scrum, understand Agile as a principle, and being able to teach people, to mentor people, to coach them, to actually live the Agile and Scrum principles. He also is responsible for observing the team and identifying their strengths, right? So observing the team to know, okay, who is that person that can do this work most, and who's the person that has some challenges in certain areas of within the team, and how can I help them? How can I optimize this team? How can I make people collaborate better? How can I make the senior guys in the team help the junior guys to do their work better, to improve the quality of their work? So observe. You're just there to observe, to see how who's doing what best, who's struggling, how can I help them to improve, stuff like that. He's also there to ensure that the team follows the Scrum framework and to live the Scrum values. Very important. He's also there to coach the team to achieve their objective and develop their skills. I already mentioned this before. He's there to lead cross-functional team communication. So, as a Scrum Master, there is every tendency that your Scrum team might be, dependent on another Scrum team. So it's your responsibility to lead the communication within your team and the other team, and even within your team as well. It's your responsibility to communicate effectively within team members so that nothing gets missed, right? Facilitating all elements of Scrum framework, including the planning process, the reviews, and the sprints, right? So these are the major elements of Agile: sprint planning, sprint reviews, the sprint itself, and we'll talk about all of these things when we go into the class. We're going to delve deep into them. We're going to do role plays as well to show, you know, what are the key things that happens in this, different meetings in these sessions. He also is working on the project, acting as both a leader and as a participant. So whatever it is that the project team is building, whatever product it is they are developing, he's also part of that product, and it's his responsibility to ensure that the best product gets built, right? So he would contribute, as much as he can to the development of that product, you know, for the time period when that product is being built. Now, there's a very funny meme here that shows how people actually perceive the role of a scrum master, right? So the first one, you can see what my team thinks I do. So a lot of times, product teams, development teams actually think that the scrum master is there to yell at them, to micromanage them, to really stress them out, to say you're not doing what you're supposed to do. That's what the team thinks. What the society thinks that the scrum master does, they think the scrum master is there, looking sharp, and talking to the team every day, just trying to motivate them and stuff. That's what people from the outside looking in, that's what they think the work is about. So what my uncle thinks I do, so your uncle thinks you're just there, all you're doing is just celebrating, having fun, eating pizza and stuff like that. Your relatives like, what does this scrum master thing even mean? That's what they think you do. uh what my boss thinks I do. So your boss thinks that you're that guy sitting on a high horse, chasing everybody around, getting them to do their work and stuff. Now, what you yourself think you do is that you think you are that super built team coach, that is here to help them remove all their problems, so, brush any challenge that's coming. That's what you think you do. But what you do actually in the actual sense is to actually manage the work of the team. You can see what we have on this last image here is showing the team board to show work that is actually being done. Here you can see what is getting done, what's not getting done. You can see what has been done. You're just tracking the team progress. You're using what you can see, what you can visualize on the team board to actually manage the work that they're doing. So that's really what the work entails. So this is when we say observe, these are the things that actually helps you to observe. When you're looking at the team board, who's actually slacking, and how can I help them get the work done? Who actually has additional capacity to support someone else within the team. So this is basically what the work entails. So this is what it looks like. more about how to use agile tools to manage the teamwork when we go into the training as well. Yeah, so that's one thing I'm really looking forward to, because there's a lot of theoretical stuff that we'll talk about, but I really want us to get to the nitty gritty to show what the work actually looks like, how you get to manage a team. So a lot of that when we go into the classes. Now, how do you then become a scrum master with no experience, right? So these are tips that would really help you. So first thing is to learn and understand Scrum, right? Learn the Scrum framework, understand the agile methodology, learn about it, understand it, and understand why it is even a thing. Why this Scrum? Why do we need to do Scrum? So understand it as much as you can. And then the next thing is to practice the Scrum framework in other roles. So once you have a very good understanding of what Scrum looks like, you can begin to practice, you know, in your current role. There are lots of things that you can do. You can do retrospectives, right? You can do stand-up meetings with a team that is not even a Scrum team. you know you can introduce elements of what you find in Scrum into your regular work, and with that you begin to see that you're developing the skills. You're building the skills gradually, you're getting the experience as much as you can. Then it's also very important to build your network, right? So building your network is one of the things that would really help you. So network with people who have been doing Scrum, people who are already practicing Scrum, people who already exist in a Scrum team, and ask them questions. Talk to them, about what their experiences have been like, and you'll be surprised at the things that they will share with you, and you realize that, oh, this thing is not even as difficult as I think it is. you know Develop the relevant skills in Scrum. So I personally would advise that if you really want to do Scrum, you want to be a Scrum master, then you look for volunteering opportunities, look for situations where you can say, you know what, guys, let's employ the Scrum principle to actually do this project, right? You have an event that you're planning for, you have a wedding, you have a birthday party, you can use Scrum to actually plan for it. You can use Scrum to actually manage that event. So that would really help you to develop the skills and build the confidence that you need to step into this role. Also explore certification options. Once you get certified, it's like a badge that you have to say, you know what, I understand Scrum, I've gone ahead to take a course, and now I have a certification to show for it. So that's just something you don't need to explain too much. You want to show someone that you have a certification. People can see that, yeah, you've been through all the necessary things that you need to go through to actually attain this certification. So you must know what you're doing. You must understand Scrum, and that's the reason why you have the certification. So your chances of getting a job as a Scrum master, are much more higher. Then also you need to highlight transferable skills. A lot of the things you would see when we go into the classes is that you already do some of these things, but you just don't know that you do them, right? Some of you are already, in a role now where you are doing some of the things that you would typically do if you're in a Scrum Master role. So highlight what those things are. For example, if facilitating meetings, for example, is something that you do regularly, then it's a skill that you can bring into, being a Scrum Master as well. So those are transferable skills that can actually help you. And again, these are things that if you get interviewed, for example, you can talk about these things that you've done. That, you know what, when I was in this role, these are the things that I did. I used to facilitate meetings, for example, and I used to help the team with some of the planning tasks in my former role. But I believe that this role, this type of work that I've done in the past, is something that can help me to become a Scrum Master, right? So highlighting transferable skills can really help you, and also preparing for your job search is something that can help you. For me, what I've done over the years is that every time I wanted to change job or wanted to move to a different role, I begin to look at um, the roles that I want to see the type of skills that they're asking for. I'll look at the job description and they'll say so ability to do the ability to do that. Look at those things and say, how many of these things can I do right now? So if you're interested in being a Scrum Master, once you see Scrum Master job descriptions, ask yourself, how many of these things can I do now? And how many of these things do I need to work on? What skills do I need to build to, position me to get a job as a Scrum Master, right? So these things would actually really help you to transition and to get a job, being part of a team, building a product, that would create impact that people can use and can actually give you fulfillment as well. So these are things that you can do to become a Scrum Master with little or no experience. And now let's talk about, the top skills that a Scrum Master must have, right? So communication is very key. As a Scrum Master, you would be communicating regularly. You would be communicating with your team. You would be communicating with outside stakeholders who are interested in what your team members are doing. So it's important that you hone your communication skills. Very, very key. Coaching is another thing, right? The team is expected that you are the person that understands Scrums the most, right? So you need to coach the team. When you see them doing things that does not align with the Scrum principle, you need to be able to coach them to let them know that this is how we are actually meant to be doing things. This is how it works. So coaching skills are very important. Conflict resolution is also key. Because I mean, when you're managing a team, there's definitely going to be conflict amongst people. People would have different ideas, people will disagree with themselves, but it is your responsibility as a Scrum Master to be able to help manage such conflict within your team and bring out the best possible decision from disagreements or from conflicts that you experience within the team. Interpersonal skills also very important. um Very similar to your communication skill, but interpersonal skills, how to interact with people, how to relate, you know easily with people, relate really, how to empathize, understand people's perspective, you know, and understand, when to say what you need to say and when not to say certain things. So very important for you to build your interpersonal skills if you must be a good Scrum Master. Collaboration, very, very, very important. I cannot overemphasize this one because a Scrum Master is one person that must drive collaboration between teams, because a Scrum team is a team of people with different skill sets, right? You have a developer, you might have somebody who's responsible for back end development, somebody else is a product designer, UI, UX, the other person is a product manager, a product owner, the next person is a database administrator. You must be able to get everybody to collaborate. So you are that person that facilitates that collaboration within the team for them to bring out the best outputs. And then lastly, we got Scrum and Agile knowledge. I mean, that's the reason why you have the job in the first place. The fact that you have the knowledge, right? You have the knowledge, you have the skills, you are able to help the team to practice Scrum to become more agile. So you must build upon your knowledge base. And how do you do this? Taking trainings, taking courses, read as much as you can about Scrum and Agile, listen to podcasts, follow people who are thought leaders in this space, understand the do's and don'ts, and once you build that knowledge base, you're then able to apply it, to your team. All right, so just moving on. This is another funny one. Of course, you know it's just funny. This doesn't happen in real life, but just imagine that your Scrum or stand-up meeting is by 10 o'clock, and by 10:01 you've not seen your team members joining the meetings. You're cocking your gun, you're ready to shoot anyone who has not attended the stand-ups yet. Just a funny one, really. This doesn't happen in real life. Scrum Master is not meant to kill anybody, but to get everyone to come together, collaborate, and help to build the best products. Thank you very much, everyone. I'll take your questions now. Let's hear them. Let's have them. Hello.
Okay, guys. I just wanted to chip some things in, and like Eniola has rightly said, he introduced us to Scrum, and a lot of times, most of us were here because we intend to transition into tech. And I'll use my story for an example. Let me quickly, I think I was just creating something real quick. I'll share my screen, and I just wanted to highlight something, and maybe this will inspire someone to, perhaps make a decision to do Scrum. Okay. Let me see if I can share my screen. And Eniola, you share back once I'm done, please.
Okay.
Yeah, you just share. Okay. Okay, guys, can you see my screen? Can you see my screen?
I can see your screen.
Okay, so this is me. When I joined the current company that I am in, I know I didn't introduce myself before, starting the class, but I didn't want to take all of the attention away from the sole purpose why we're here. And that's why I didn't. So my name is Adedolapo, and I have been in tech as well for close to 7 years now, roughly 7 years, right? So I want to give you an instance. So when I started off in tech, I didn't start off in any technical role majorly, but I knew that I always tell people I accidentally fell into tech. So my story might be a lot different from you. But when I eventually got in, of course, I didn't just want to be in entry level. I wanted to move up the ladder. I wanted to, actually do things in tech. And, in your highlighted things, transferable skills that you currently have that you could take advantage of, being a Scrum Master. So let me see if I could do a slideshow so that this is showing alone. Okay, so when I joined a particular company in the United States, which I still work with, I joined in as a Scrum Master. See, let me tell you something. The best way to get your leg into tech is through Scrum Master. You know why? It's not something, there's nothing technical. If you can communicate well, you speak well, if you know how to coach people, all you need to do is like, I always use this formula: learn the framework, understand what Scrum is, and you are the one going to teach people about that Scrum. You are the one going to guide people to build projects or to do projects using the Scrum framework. Simply, and you can leverage your communication skills, your coaching skills, your interpersonal skills, and negotiation skill. It's like a free ticket into going into tech that you don't have to learn. Like for instance, now if you were to learn data analysis, you'd have to learn to use tools like Power BI. Are you going to use tools as a Scrum Master? Of course. You talked about the Kanban board. We have digitalized Kanban boards that a lot of companies like Jira, maybe you've heard about it, Jira, Trello have built so that especially with teams that work remotely, you can actually digitalize everything and use that to work with your team. But what I'm trying to say is that it's nothing extremely technical that anyone cannot use. If you know how to scroll through Instagram, you can use a Scrum Master tool. Simply. So the way I got into this company was I started off, what I did then, and I don't know if Eniola has been my Scrum Master coach for years and years, and bigs up to him. And you guys are very advantaged to have him even speak to you. So he was my Scrum Master coach. I was like, okay, I'm going into this company. They need a Scrum Master. I need to be coached. Tell me what to do. How do I handle the situation? And you saw when he mentioned that all you need is to just get into communities of Scrum Master just to keep updating yourself. And all I needed to do in this company was just build a framework, build a Scrum framework to allow them build products in iterations using the Scrum framework or the Agile methodology. Period. That was it. So all I did was take a course like this that you're taking, although I did like an extensive boot camp. I had a mentor like Eniola, and I took the certification just to certify or show them that I actually understand this framework. And Vaola, I got the job. And I can tell you that since being a Scrum Master, I was able to, actually move to other roles such as business analysis. I even set up a product management team for them. And right now, I'm doing security. So if you, instead of you spending, like I tell people, instead of you spending years and or months trying to figure out things, especially if you're not very good in maths at school, or you don't like anything too technical, or you're very busy that you might not have the time to learn anything so technical, I would tell you for a fact that Scrum Master is the fastest way to get your leg in. And from there, you can keep figuring out what you want. Maybe eventually you become a Scrum Master and you realize that, oh, look, I think I like analytics a lot. Maybe I should just actually delve into data analytics, right? Or I think I like product ownership, or I even like to code. I think it's something I can do. Maybe, you can actually, so one of the fastest way, I'm not saying it's a guarantee, but the fastest way to take, because, the turnover time or turnaround time in learning and also building your CV and start applying for a job is very short. So I just thought, to I like that, and I'll give the phone back to Eniola. Eniola, over to you. Yeah.
Yeah. Thank you very much for sharing your experience, Adelapo. Guys, I mean, Adelapo has had a wonderful career, and really, it is these skills that has gotten her this far. She has done really amazing things, built amazing products. Started Scrum teams. She's a superstar, I must tell you. And these are the skills that has gotten her this far. So um, trust me when we say to you, we're not saying this because we're trying to sell you a course or anything. It's something that we've lived. It's an experience that we've had. So I'll take any questions. Is there anything anyone is not clear about, or is there anything on your mind you want to ask? Please feel free and ask the question. Let's talk about it.
Okay, so let me ask one question. Sorry. I
Hmm.
know a lot of people have been in my DMs, or should I say my WhatsApp and my emails asking, wait, is a Scrum Master the same as a project manager? Right. So
Yeah.
I don't know if you want to answer that.
Um. So the way I like to answer that question is to say, so it's a yes and it's a no. Um. It's a yes because what you're doing basically here is to actually manage a project. So for that reason, it's a yes. You're managing a project team that is developing a product, right? And it's a no because project management is very broad. Scrum is just one framework that is used in software development, in product development, to actually manage the build and development of technical. Let me not use the word technical, or manage the development of products. So it's a way of just ensuring that you are able to manage the team to build what they need to build within the time that they need to build it. But project management is very broad. There is project management in other spaces outside of software development. So you can be a project manager, um, you know, managing a construction project, for example. You can be a project manager managing um, an event, you know, an event management type of project. So project management is very broad. Um, I would say that for people who are trying to transition into tech, Scrum is is the the recommended being a Scrum Master is a recommended way to get into project management in tech, right? So if you want to be a project manager that is doing tech, so if you want to transition into tech, then Scrum is for you. But if you're that person that wants to develop project management knowledge, the broad project management knowledge, to be able to do any type of work within any industry, any sector, then you should go for project management because it's broader, right? But if tech is your focus, is if product development is your focus, if you want to be within that software product management space, then Scrum is probably, and very, very easy, like she said, to get into, very easy to understand, easy to grasp all of the concepts. So if tech is your focus, then this is what you need to be doing. But if you want to take it a step further, you want to have that broad project management, understanding, then go for the traditional project management, go for PMP, Prince 2, or whatever it is. So that's how I would answer that question.
Thank you
Uh,
very much. Okay, Rosemary, over to you. No.
yeah, thank you very much, Mr. Anyola and Adedolapo, for your teaching so far and also for your experience
Hmm.
also. Okay, my question is this. Being a Scrum Master, do you need to have a knowledge of product management, business analysis, or
Not at all.
um,
The answer is
you
no.
don't know?
You don't
Absolutely
you
no.
don't you don't you don't need to have that experience or that knowledge. Guess what? You would learn on the job. All you need to know is know Scrum, understand understand the principles of Scrum, and then once you begin to practice as a Scrum Master, you will just see that you're beginning to learn product management, you're beginning to learn business analysis because you'll be working with product managers, you'll be working with business analysts. You would gradually begin to grasp, all of the concepts of product management, business analysis. Then at that point, if you are then interested in switching into that career, then you can, go learn more about that space, upskill yourself, and then move into that space if you want to. But it is not a career for getting a job as a scrum master. All you need to get into a career as a scrum master is to understand scrum and be able to implement most of these scrum practices, being able to coach a team, being able to help a team to do agile the right way. If you're able to do that, then you're good to go. Adelapo, you want to add anything?
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, you don't need any knowledge of business analysis or, product management at all. Like it's like very easy. It's like they are teaching you a formula in math, right? Just understand how the formula works and go and apply it. That's it. That's
Yeah,
what
yeah,
Scrum is. So you don't need to have any knowledge. That's like I rightly mentioned. That's the fastest and easiest way into getting into a tech company. Yeah, and as a matter of fact, the beautiful thing about Scrum is that most times employers would not require what's it called job experience. They just want you to show certification. Really, they just want you to show that okay, you've written the exam and you passed it. They believe that it's been those exams are proctored and it's a true show of your knowledge in Scrum, so they are good with it. And I would also want to mention, interestingly, I was researching and I realized that even aside from even product teams, Scrum is also Scrum masters are needed in aviation industry as well. I saw that, and I was looking at some job boards because I was mentoring someone. We're trying to land the person, a remote job, and we saw that, and we were like excited. And as a matter of fact, Eniola, you can perhaps validate this. Scrum can be applied to other industries as well, other than the tech industry, although it's more prevalent, or the inception or the origination was to build tech products, right?
yeah. So what I'll say about that is that a scrum master is required in every industry. When I was talking about my profile, I once worked for a travel company. A travel company is not a technology company, but guess what? Every company that wants to, if you want customers to buy your products online, if you want to build a website, if you want to establish an online presence, then you need to build solutions. You need to build digital solutions. You need to build websites. You need to build apps. So regardless of the industry that you are in, so long as you are doing things that relate to establishing an online presence, then you need people who have these skills that can help you build products that would give you that online presence, right? So while I was in a travel company, I was within the technology team of the travel company. We had a website where people can go and build, people can, book flights, book hotels and packages. We also had an app where people can, book flights on the go, book packages and stuff. So regardless of the even this aviation that she spoke about, I'm sure the airlines would, they have websites, they have apps, right? They would integrate to third parties, right? That can show listings of their flights on their websites. It is people that are doing products that do this type of work, right? So there are jobs in any industry for you as a scrum master, right? Because people are building product teams, they are building development teams within their companies every day. So there's a job for you. There's a job everywhere. A new business that some it's 2024 now. Somebody has probably registered a business. This year I'm going to build a business. In the next 3 4 years, when the business begins to expand, they will be doing a lot around establishing an online presence. And by doing that, you need to employ people that can actually do this work. You need to bring in scrum masters, bring in product managers, bring in developers to come and build solutions that can put you online so that people can actually access your business online. So it's a space that there's I actually think that there's shortage of talent within this space. So, the more people we can get into these jobs, the better it is for us, you know, in the world. So basically that's what I would say about that.
Okay. Thank you very much. Why I asked the question is because I've did a course in product management
Okay.
and also business analysis.
Mm.
And I've even done what is this called again? It's a software that is manual software testing,
Okay.
and that I've done all of them. And so where I had issue was now getting into the real world,
Mm.
because after getting all this training, getting all this skill and all that, you need to, practice
Yeah.
for you to actually know what you have done. And then it now becomes so difficult in a way that because I have a job, you
Yeah.
understand, we're talking about transiting to tech.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's not that I didn't have a job. If it's someone who doesn't have a job, it can be very easy to say, okay, any what job I get, I just take it. But because I have a job and I just can't just leave my job to jump into another one because,
Mm.
in quote, there are bills to pay.
Yeah.
So it become difficult for me, and I was looking for a remote job and something
Mm.
that is part-time that I would do to at least upskill, what I have, to at least test what I have. And it becomes difficult for me because when I started those ones, it was so easy. Everybody was just talking and all that. I was like, it looks so easy. But by the time I finished those courses, I found out that well, we are still where we are, you know. So now I'm in Scrum. I'm here again now and hearing about, Scrum also, you know, because, and I'm now wondering, how, with the knowledge I have in all those ones, which okay, let's say, okay, Scrum again. If we did this Scrum, how possible is it for us to, get
To
something that will help
transition it.
us to, yeah, transition, get something that will actually help us to actually transition into what we are learning.
Yeah.
That is why I'm asking that, and I don't know. That is where I
Okay.
am. Mm.
Yeah. Anila, do you want me to answer it?
Yeah. I want you to answer that. Yeah.
All right, great. Rosemary, I actually empathize with you because this is the story of, I would say, maybe most of us on the call and myself as well. I remember before I got into tech, I used to be a buying manager. I used to work in retail. And and I said to you, I accidentally fell into tech. So now, um, me, I always try to look for the when someone already has the formula, just follow it, right? And the easiest part to getting things. So if you want to transition into tech, if you want to get part-time, I'm not going to say, oh, it's going to be very, very easy, or you landed a role easily. But after things like Scrum, for instance, is like, I mean, this is a recorded session. I can guarantee you that is one of the easiest way to land a job in tech. When I say job, it could be a full time, it could be even freelance. But one of the things, like for instance, now the for the people providing this introductory class is called Learn App. So one of the things that we're trying to help students do is that we're not only just helping them get the skill. Just 1 second, I need to. It's noisy. All right, sorry about that. Yeah. So as I was saying, so one of the things that we are trying, the gap we're trying to bridge is from acquiring the skill and actually, you know, practicing with the skill and essentially, start to make money from the skill, right? So with us, what we do is once you acquire the skill, you get into a mentorship class, right? Not a class, you understand, a mentorship, program whereby you work with, people like myself, like Eniola, who has 11 years experience, as, a Scrum Master, although we have other courses, but let's assume you want to do the Scrum Master course, which by the way is one of the most affordable course even out of the courses that we have listed in the school, right? You get after you finish, you get into a mentorship. Let me tell you something. You're going to leverage Eniola's network. Eniola knows a lot of Scrum Masters that might be even recruiting in their company, right? That can reference you, or I will know, Scrum Master. If they're recruiting in my company, trust me, I would want, because I know that you have the skill set already and you can actually perform. I will recommend you. Secondly, aside from the mentorship, we also have a remote job program where we train you on how to get remote jobs as well. So most times people just feel that, okay, the hack to getting a remote job is just, applying and just throwing your CV out there. So what we're doing is we're helping you with your CV building, helping you understand how to optimize that CV so that at least you get an interview, right? Because if I'm working remotely and Yola works remotely as well, and I know a lot of people, that means is actually possible for every one of us here to do this. But you just need to know. So this is one of the things that we would offer you as well. And the third thing is actually you doing the job. There's one thing to say, okay, I've paid, I think I have the knowledge. Are you going to invest in applying all of those formulas that we would be giving you, even though it could be rigorous? We're giving you assignments to do. We're telling you to build your cover letter this way. We're giving you certain things. Sometimes you can have someone guide you, but are you actually ready to put in the work? And I have an example I always tell everyone that I mentor and to the glory of God get, remote jobs. I tell them that, see, you have to have what we call grit, especially when you are trying to, get a remote job or you are trying to apply. It's like you're an entry level. It's like that stage where you are when you finish university and you want to get into the job market, right? Sometimes you feel very frustrated. It's the same way to like getting, especially when you just started off in tech and you want to get into, the tech industry as well, either remotely or I mean, in person, however it is. So, but the mindset that differentiates people that actually gave up and started their entrepreneurial journey to start selling things or building their own business, and the mindset of people that kept applying and applying until they got that job is totally different. And one is what I call grit, and it's the same mindset you need to apply. So I said something. I say, when you're trying to speak to, you want to sell something to five people, trust me, the rule of marketing is that one person would show interest. So with jobs as well, when you're trying to get a job, right? If you want to get at least one interview, you need to apply to five jobs. Four of them might, reject you. So if you want to get five interviews, I'm not saying you want to get five jobs, five interviews, what will you do? You need to apply to 20 jobs, right? Is the one ratio five. If you want to get 20 interviews, you need to apply to 100 jobs, right? I'm just giving you some of the things that will teach you how to actually get jobs, remote jobs. So you need to apply. And when we say 100 jobs, apply, it's not just 100 random Scrum Master job you see on Indeed, LinkedIn. No, there's a strategy to select those jobs that would also help you with, right? And we believe that with all of this, because it has worked for a lot of us, and trust me, it's something that can work for you as well. So beyond, the classroom, I mean, we have other tech schools that are offering probably, Scrum Master course helping you get certified, right? One of the gap we're bridging is to help you, transition and do the work, right? And we also even trying to get it for whoever, have joined our school. It's not a guarantee, right? But we could also see how would get you internship placement just to start off, just to have that experience, just to actually do the hands-on. But the good thing is, if you're working with Eniola, even during the class, is doing role plays for you. You're actually understanding what you're supposed to do even before you actually start doing it. I don't know if that answers your question, Rosemary.
Um, so I
Yeah.
just actually I actually wanted to add
Mm,
with Mary.
Yeah.
okay.
So one of the things that we would do in the training session is to actually teach you how to use these tools, which is what you would use when you eventually get jobs. Um, so show you how to use Jira, show you how to use Azure DevOps, and all those tools. And as part of the assessments that we do in the classes, you have to go and do something. You do role plays as well, that can actually give you confidence to you know develop those skills and to ace any interviews that comes your way. See, when you start getting interviews, nobody will ask you to define Scrum or mention the the top skills of a scrum master, nobody will ask you all those things. They ask you scenario based questions, right? And the way you get the job is to be able to answer those scenario based questions. They would ask you that if, I mean, tell us about the time when you were able to do this and do that. So this class has to be practical enough to give you that confidence, right? To be able to answer those type of questions. So that's one thing that we intend to do with these classes, and hopefully you stick around for when we get to that point.
Okay, yeah, thank you so very much for the answers to the questions. Because I was saying, talking about internship and all that, I know that the one I did before, what I'm just speaking now is that I just want to clear my mind and clear and get some clarification, because from the let me say the school or the consulting firm that I had those my skills, it was like, oh, we'll help you get the internship, we'll help you think of how to get the job, remote job, this is that. You understand? But they never did. You understand? They never did. And the remote job sessions, yes, they put us through, all those kind of things. But what I'm saying, at the end of it, it was like left halfway, because you are just trying to say, okay, where do I go to? How do I start it? Okay, so now I want to be very, sure that, okay, now taking the route of Scrum, you know, going through is not going through the classes, doing the assignment, taking all the assessments is not an issue for me, because of those other skills that I have gone through. I know what we did when we were doing those classes. Even I've done product design. I have acquired the skill. You understand? I did the classes, the assessments, everything now, and all that. But now getting to the real world was now the issue. And that is where my concern is in going through Scrum, taking the route of Scrum also. So for me, I'm looking at it, let it not be that, okay, I'm acquiring all these skills and all that. What am I even doing with it? I've not even started with one. So if I want to start with
Mm.
Scrum, I hope that, okay, going through the route of Scrum, I won't start it again. And at the end of the day, we, you understand? If
Yeah.
you understand my fear, that's why I'm asking the question anyway. But thank you. You've explained and said, okay, this is what you're going to do, going through this route. And thank you very much. I appreciate that.
You're welcome. You're welcome. Any other questions? JC, Rachel, Sunshine, Olaide, Joy, please. Ginika, Eno, and we have Design Excel, and Ademidu, Adegbola. Do you guys have any question? Okay, so I guess there are no questions. So this
I have
class,
I have a
okay.
question.
Oh, tell us, JC. Tell us.
Yeah, thank you so much for a wonderful presentation, Mr. Eniola and Leonard. Thank you.
Okay.
So my question is for one to um effectively package his or her profile as a scrum master, all right? What, since you don't necessarily need any background in business analysis or product management, so how
We can't hear you anymore,
in
Jesse.
that position over time? Okay, would your profile just be about your managerial skill, communication skill, the things you've done before, not necessarily having a profile on any particular project you participated in? Would that suffice? Thank you.
Okay, so I think I'll just take this one. So Jesse, if you recall when I said earlier that you need to highlight transferable skills. Um, so when we say you don't need any experience, it doesn't necessarily mean that you will say, I've not done anything Scrum, but I'm here, I want to be a Scrum Master. you need to show that um, I have built these skills over time doing other jobs. And in the other jobs that I've done, this is how I was able to use these skills to do what a Scrum Master would typically do, right? So, yes, you need to package your profile, to show that you can actually do the job. And you packaging your profile, why you're packaging it is to get interviews, right? So, the first thing is to get the interviews. Then, in the interviews, you then need to be able to show that you have the ability to actually work as a scrum master, because they will ask you scenario based questions. In the past, how have you been able to do this? How have you been able to do that? You need to be able to answer those questions. And the practicality that comes with it, with this training, will put you in a good position to be able to respond to such questions, to answer such questions convincingly. So it doesn't mean that you wouldn't work on your yeah, like Adeolako said, there is that CV review. We'll definitely do handhold you, help you to build a CV that can get you such interviews, can get you into those rooms, and then when you get there, you're able to answer these questions convincingly. Due to the coaching that will provide, the practicalities that will come with these sessions, will put you in that position to be able to um, scale through to landing jobs as a scrum master.
Okay, I appreciate the response. Thank you so much. Then I also heard when you mentioned, I think yeah, both of you mentioned that Scrum Master i- job role
Mm,
can is very versatile. It can be in different organizations, different companies.
yeah.
Now, in those like for like in a hotel setting
Mm,
or airport setting, what do they call that job role? Do they call it Scrum Master? Because mostly I hear Scrum Master when it comes to tech company developing maybe any particular app or solution. So in all those organizations, what is the name of Scrum Master? Even though the roles are the same, but what is the title? What do they call it? So when you apply, you'll be able to know that, or when you see a job advert, you'll be able to know, oh, this one is actually referring to Scrum Master, even though they don't call it Scrum Master. I don't know if my question is clear. Thank you.
yeah, your question is very clear. Doako, do you want to answer that one? You want me to go ahead?
Okay, you can go ahead. Go ahead and maybe.
Okay. Um, yeah, so I don't want you to get confused here. Someone asked the question earlier. Oh, I think Doako asked me, what's the difference between Scrum Master and Project Manager? And then I explained that a Scrum Master um is someone that is doing the job of a project manager, in the tech space, right? Uh, and a project manager is someone that is probably handling projects outside in other sectors outside of a tech space. So I would answer this question this way: a Scrum Master is a Scrum Master, right? And a project manager is a project manager. So in a hotel setting, for example, probably that person is a project manager. But if you really want to do Scrum, I think what you should be targeting is to do it, the way it's meant to be done, to do it within the tech space, right? Because all of these principles, all of these Scrum principles, Scrum values, and all, these things are best practiced within a tech space, within a software or a product development team. So if you want to do Scrum Master, I think what you should be targeting is to actually move into tech, right? And by moving into tech, it doesn't mean that you cannot work in any sector. Like I mentioned earlier, I worked for a travel company. A travel company is not a tech company, but it had a tech department there that was you know, building products, building solutions. So you can be anywhere, you can be in any sector, as long as this company is doing stuff to develop their digital footprints. I can assure you that there would be a team that is developing products one way or the other, right? So what you should target if you want to be a Scrum Master is to practice Scrum where it is meant to be practiced, right? But if project management is what you want to do, then you can go for that. I don't know if this answers your question, JC.
Yeah, thank you very much. Thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
Okay, so JC, you just simply want to look out for Scrum Master, but you can look for Scrum Master in any industry. So the role is still Scrum Master. I don't think it's called something else. Still Scrum Master. Yeah.
Yeah, I got that.
Yeah.
Thank
So
you.
yeah, Scrum Master, software development, product development, that's what you should be targeting. So build this skill and target those jobs. And this job can, come to you from any sector, any industry. So long as the company is building products, so long as they are doing digital stuff, they want to do a website, they want to build an app, you know, there's definitely going to be a need for such roles within that company in any sector.
I don't. I want to clarify my assumption. I want to be
Mm,
sure that what I'm assuming is right now.
yeah,
Um, Looks like a Scrum Master. The skill for a Scrum Master, the skills are basically soft, soft skills,
yeah,
right?
they are basically soft skills. Yeah.
Yes.
Okay. All
They are
right.
Yes.
soft.
Thank you.
They are soft skills, but you would be you are bringing soft skills to support a team that have technical skills, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
your own is to ensure that you are managing everybody well. You are managing everything. Everything is going on fine. But most of the people that you would be managing or working with are people who would have technical skills, but you are bringing your own soft skills to the table. So it's a I always say to anybody that cares to know, if you are a scrum master, there's no how that you will not develop some of those technical skills. If you sit in meetings and people are discussing about the code, the database, it is, you pick up those things as well. So over time you just realize you're beginning to understand all these technical things as well. But what you bring to the table is your soft skills.
Yeah, because while listening to you, I had to like reflect, on my previous job roles, okay,
Mm,
that I handled in my organization. The same
okay.
organization, but different roles that I handled.
Mm,
When we developed, when we built data for our entire zone and different things, even the our um the app we use in registering, our sites and all of that. I was
mm.
involved, but I didn't hear anything like Scrum Master. I didn't think I knew what Scrum Master was about. But as you were discussing now, I had a reflection like, I'd been handling this kind of role without knowing. We've had projects on certain products that we wanted to deploy, okay, and I was involved in ensuring we delivered at the expected time, and then putting the team together, finding out if anybody was not working well, if anybody was not turning up, finding
Mm.
out, motivating them, okay, rebuking the ones that I could rebuke, all those kind of things. But I didn't know it was a Scrum Master role, something like that.
So you
So
see
thank you very
the
much.
transferable skills that we're talking about, you already have it. So it will not be wrong for you to put on your CV to say you've actually been a Scrum Master before and explain how you were a Scrum Master doing all these things that you did. So you already have some experience, but you just didn't know you have it. So doing this course now is just something that helps you validate, you know, everything that you've done. So now you're now putting it together. This gives you a structure, it puts a better view as to how things were actually meant to be done. But you've done some of it. So you have these transferable skills already. And I'm sure a lot of people on this call already have these transferable skills, but they just don't know. That's why you need to learn, understand the Scrum practices, understand how it's meant to work for you to see, okay, this is how it was actually meant to be done. In the past, I've done it. I probably did this way or that way. This was what I got right back then. This is what I didn't get right back then. But yeah, now that I know, going forward, I'm going to ensure that I do things how things are actually meant to be done. So these are the transferable skills we're talking about.
Thank you so much. Thank you.
You're welcome. You're welcome.
Thank you. All right. I don't know if there are any other questions. We have gone past that time, and I think it's a good thing to see that people that have started with us actually are ending with us. That means everyone's attention has been grabbed. So I really want to say thank you very much for everyone that has, attended this introduction to Scrum Master. So the next step would be, okay, what next, right? I think JC Rosemary has asked valuable, valid questions. So for the thing next, for what you're supposed to do next would be that taking action by perhaps enrolling for the actual course. So this is a free course, right? And you can see that even from this free course you were able to have this sort of quality information towards understanding what Scrum is. So imagine if you then take the actual course. And another thing is, whatever course you're taking, it helps you, it prepares you 80% guaranteed for the Scrum certification exam, right, Eniola? I mean, the 20% is just pretty much self study.
Mm.
right?
Yeah, that's correct.
Self-study, and you can take this certification exam. And Yola highlighted how you can get into Scrum with no experience. And you mentioned certification, which is exactly what I did myself. You understand? Just to let this employ. I mean, these people are in the United States. They don't know me from anywhere, and I'm telling them, yes, I've done Scrum. I know Scrum. Even if I can quickly read or write a summary while I'm doing the interview, but it's because I have the certification exam. They were like, okay, let us trust this girl, right? Let us trust this. So, um, in the case where you'd want to take, this course so that you can get you to the next step of perhaps um, thank you. And Anne says that thank you for this class, Dolapo and Eniola. Looking forward to learning Scrum. I'm excited for you, Anne, and I'm glad that we're able to, incite your interest in learning Scrum. Thank you very much, Anne. So I was speaking to the next step. So in the case where you're interested, I'm assuming everyone is in the closed group, Introduction to Scrum Master WhatsApp group. If not, let me quickly just drop it in the chat room. Please kindly join. And you'd always see someone. Oh, yes, we do. We do. We do. And your lab, please, do you guys have references?
Definitely. Oh yes, oh yes.
Absolutely.
If you're part of my class, I know you. I will definitely give you reference notes. Definitely.
Absolutely.
But if you're
Yes.
not part of my class, I don't know you.
Okay. Yeah. So please, I'm trying to just drop in the WhatsApp group. 1 second. So just make sure you're there. And we're starting classes next week. Next week. So we do classes Saturdays and Sundays. It's going to run for about 4 weeks. And of course, this would include, everything about Scrum, being a Scrum Master, and the tools as well. And once that class is done, we then go to the next stage. Although at this point, you'll be collaborating with different, students from different, cohorts, like we'll be doing like, the mentorship programs. We're also going to be doing like the, remote work, program as well to see how we can, hopefully get everyone give testimony as well. Yeah, I did all up. I got my first remote job, as a Scrum Master or whatever it is. So I will drop. I'll do. Okay, I think I have to copy invite link. Let me quickly do that. And reach out to. Okay, Rosemary says she's not. Okay, now I sent the WhatsApp group link. Can you join? Okay. Okay, great. So, yeah, is there a cost for this? Absolutely. There's a cost for the program. Of course, I mean, time is money, they say. So, it's not, the Scrum Master course is not free. Of course, going forward, we'll be having free courses just in the case, you want to get freebies. But of course, you won't be able to get all of the, you know, real value, I would say. It's not free. So our Scrum Master course is $120, right? But for everyone that is this call, we're going to give you a 30% discount to this course if you register between now and let me see, 1 second, between now and the 16th of January. I mean, the good thing is you can also pay installmentally. You don't necessarily have to pay in full as well, because we understand that as January, we have financial commitments and yeah. So between now and January 16, you can reach out to me or just drop in the group. I'm interested in registering. We would, help you forward. And another beautiful thing is that you would get is in the case where sometimes you can't make it to class, and I'm assuming that no one should actually miss class. We have a dedicated dashboard to all of our students where you can log in with your email and and you can drop things, the recordings of the class if you find any information useful. I mean, this is not a WhatsApp group, this is an LMS where you could always go and rewatch videos, try to understand things even when you are preparing for an interview. Go back to that dashboard and get the lessons and rewatch it, and it hopefully helps you during your interview. So this is what we are actually giving. So I'm looking forward to almost everyone here joining the actual class with Eniola, and looking at 6 months to this time, we're having majority of people saying, okay, I landed my first tech role, and that will be that's the most exciting thing for us. So I'll tell you, one of the inspiration for Learn Arc is to see how people don't just acquire skill, right? People actually, get into jobs. You understand? People use the skill sets in real life. So that is to say that I sincerely do appreciate everyone's presence, and we'll call it a day. See you in the WhatsApp group. Someone said, "Can I work remotely as a Scrum Master?" Absolutely. I've been working remotely as a Scrum Master. As a matter of fact, most remote roles, Scrum Master has even mostly remote roles as well. Yeah, you can. You can as well. You can work remotely as a Scrum Master. Very possible. Okay, any other questions? And then we'll call it a day, and we'll hopefully see you in class next week. I guess there are no questions. All right. Thank you very much, everyone. Enjoy the rest of your weekend. Bye.
Thanks everyone. Hopefully see you soon. Bye.
Yeah. Bye.
Thank you.
You're welcome.